Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mob Tales, Mob True Tales with Jimmy. So Jimmy is speaking from real life stories, y'all. So pay attention to some of the stuff he's going to say. He's lived through firsthand, or he's lived through, or has firsthand knowledge of the things that he's going to be speaking about. And so that's really cool because we got the inside track on what's going on. He's a New Yorker and has been most of his life. He's built restaurants in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, pretty much all over the country. So Jimmy has a lot of knowledge into how the mob operates and how things are happening in the cities that he's worked in. And so Jimmy, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yes, on your show.
Thanks, man. Really.
So
I got to tell you, it's just funny to hear, but, I'm laughing because I'm thinking back at all these nightmares and all this craziness that I went through with these people, and taking a realization of how, I would say, lazy and how unmindful these people really are. I mean, some of them are very intelligent, but some of them are just rabid dogs. It really is crazy, man.
good grief.
But so what did you want to? What did you have? Did you want to do? You had mentioned something.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about what you know about the Cava Conte family.
Wow. Glad you asked.
Went back, huh?
They're in North Jersey. They're a North Jersey outfit. They really had control of the docks. They had control of the shipping. I mean, they were involved in a lot of stuff, major big buildings that were going up, big contracts, and they were involved with road work. I mean, these guys they're very, very intelligent outfit. I knew a couple of them and a couple of associates. I would see them once in a while from being in the restaurant business. They would come down, hey, yeah, we're from Jersey, yeah, and they would like whisper to you, oh, yeah, Cava, oh, yeah, I'm with those, I'm with the North, oh, great, man. And, you knew a lot of sanctions. They really never bothered anybody. They never discriminated. I mean, I'm not going to say they were good boys, but, we just don't know a lot of those dark places that these guys have been to and what they've done,
Yeah.
I mean, you remember the guy Kalinsky, the killer?
Iceman, yes.
Yeah, the Iceman. Well, yeah, they knew, he did a lot of stuff for the Gambinos, but he also did a lot of stuff for Jersey outfits. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wasn't he living in Jersey, or am I mistaken?
What?
Wasn't he?
He was from Jersey, yes.
Okay.
The Iceman was from Jersey, North Jersey.
He was a cold motherfucker. I saw a couple of documentaries that he's done, and yeah, that dude was cold, ice cold. I see why they called him ice. But back to
he did a lot of that. Well, he did a lot of hits. He did a lot of hits with them. I mean, but hey, come on, man. They're just like they're like any other outfit. They're doing their thing. They got their territory. They got control of this, control of the garbage. You ain't going out of here. And if they do, of course, there was always trouble for people that, tried to say no. Or, I mean, I saw cement truck companies close their business because they didn't want to deal with these animals.
Wow.
Because I don't give a shit I don't really care what I say. They are, to me, they're all animals. They have no class or character, They're out doing bad stuff, but and now they're all into legitimate businesses. Okay. And the Cavalcante family is into legitimate businesses. They're not, it's not like it was in the 70s when it was street shit and you were killing them, and everybody was doing crazy stuff. It's very different now. They're very into businesses. They got things going, they're hustling. But,
so have they all gone legit?
Well, I'm sorry?
Have they gone legit for the most part? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I know a few of them that own restaurants and own trucking companies. And, yeah, a lot of guys, Paul Castellano's son Phil Castellano had control of the concrete, Scaramix on Staten Island, man.
Damn.
You know, they have legitimate businesses. And
Wow.
Paul Castellano cut everybody out doing that. He knew the Cavalcantis. They all had agreements with concrete, bringing stuff over, you know, stuff going over the bridge. Yeah, we're bringing a load. We're doing this. You know, and they all pretty amicable to each other because the Cavalcanti family wanted what Paul Castellano wanted, to get out of that, you know, that crazy 70s heyday of shooting and killing and, you know, and make it more legit, you know. But you had a lot of thugs like Gotti that didn't allow that. You know, they were thugs. They wanted to keep it that way. And there's still a lot of that goes on.
Fan, are you?
Well, you know, how do you have respect for a person that thinks he can sit at a chair and eat a sandwich and order somebody's death? You know what I'm saying?
Wait, on somebody's
death? Do that? Death. Their death. Ordering their death. And then what? You know, they were going to kill him.
Wow.
You know, this stuff is on tape. It's not hidden stuff. You know, talking about this guy and I'm going to kill him and I'll break his head. And who are these people that they think because something they don't like or somebody does, that they have the right to cast judgment on somebody and say, I'm going to kill him? And they do, you know, yeah, kill that guy. I owe him money. I'm not going to pay him. I'd rather not pay him. I'll kill him. Yeah, well, a lot of that stuff is not going on anymore. You know, a lot of it is legitimate companies, you know. I know guys that have a legitimate paper recycling company, and they're making millions of dollars. They don't need to, you know, why am I going to get myself in trouble? Only idiots do that, you know.
And it's because they muscled their way into the system anyway, right? So they muscled their way up there. Boom, now they own because they have enough money now to buy legitimate businesses.
Yeah, so you're talking about you got to figure these people are making millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. You know, so are there still a lot of Cavalcanti, the family running around in Jersey, or are they kind of all went legit?
A lot of the older guys are retired. They probably live down here in Florida, and of course, there's action and stuff and build businesses that they're involved with. And of course, they're still there and it's still going on. Absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these guys have legitimate jobs. You know, they'll collect, they'll do certain things. A lot of them are bookmakers, a lot of them are loan sharks. And you can make a lot of money being a loan shark.
Oh, I'm sure you can, man. That seems like that'd be where the money's at. Because you charge them, you know, some schluck wants to borrow $5,000. You add 2-3
Listen, yeah, you better believe it. And that's how they make their money. I've worked for them. I mean, when I built Paso Restaurant, I had to deal with so many one of the partners there, a guy named Tommy, the money that I was supposed to get for designing the place, he was taking and keeping.
What?
He was taking it and keeping it. And he would tell me, listen, if they ask you if I paid you the money, tell them I gave you $20,000. And I said, you gave me $500, Tom. I'm not telling them you gave me $20,000 because then, you already said you gave it to me. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
So I said, no, Tom, I'm not saying that. This is what I had to deal with. So he comes up. They were supposed to have $25,000 at this point because I did all the drawings, electrical plans, air conditioning. I used to do it all. Lo and behold, he gives me $1,000.
$1,000.
So gives me $1,000. They're supposed to have $25,000, but Tommy took the money, and he's a bad gambler. So I said, Tommy, thank you very much. As a very professional person I am, I appreciate it, but I'm going to be going now. And he went like this, oh, God, here we go. Like he knows he's going to get caught now. So, and this is no lie. So I walk in out, and this guy, Ralph, he passed away from an overdose of cocaine in the islands with his girlfriend. So lo and behold, I'm walking out. And I said, Ralph, take care. I'll see you. It was a pleasure, man, but we're done. And I said, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So I leave. I get home. I'm in my apartment. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. The phone rings.
Okay.
And it's this guy. And he says to me, Jim, yeah, how you doing? Hey, Ralph, what's going on? Yeah, I thought I'd be passing by your house to go get some of my money back. He goes, because I don't want to put my ski mask on. So I went like this to Ralph. I said, hey,
Why is he
Ralph.
passing by your house to get anything?
Well, because he thinks I received 25,000 and I'm walking out of the job.
Oh,
You got it now?
Yeah.
So I said, Ralph, you're going to have a big shock and a surprise when you come here because I'm not that easy to get on a ski mask. Just make sure you aim right because I'm going to put a throwing star right through your forehead. He goes, what? I said, you heard me. I think you better have a little conversation with your partner before you come looking for me. Okay, sir? And I hung up on him.
Mm-hmm.
They approached Tommy, and Tommy said, I never gave him the money. I kept it,
So Tommy told the
Yeah.
truth. At least he was a stand-up guy enough to tell the truth when the balls came to the.
Well, he had no choice. But, yeah.
So did you ever finish the job? Did they pay you? Did you
Oh,
finish?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Did you ever have any
it actually was a really, really beautiful restaurant. It really was. And I always got blamed, with other restaurant owners. Look, every restaurant he opens closes. Am I the one robbing the place and partners? I remember a doctor asked me, I did this doctor's job, and he goes, Jimmy, how's Sammy's Steakhouse? And I said, Doc, you got to go in, take your wife. It's beautiful. And it was at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, he takes his wife's jacket off. They're taking the coat. They're going to put it in the coat room. And his wife is a beautiful lady. She's at the edge of the bar, and three guys, whoa, baby, come over, come and have a drink with us. Calls the coat check girl over. Can I have my jacket? Puts the jacket on his wife. He puts his jacket on. They walk out.
For real.
He calls me the next day. And he goes, Jimmy, I didn't know you associated yourself with those people. I said, what? Beautiful restaurant. Some other silly Willie came in and redesigned it to Bocelli's and said less is more because he can only do less. But anyway, I called up the owner who lives in Florida now. He's retired.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what the hell happened? What did you guys do? And he goes, this guy Buster came in and he took over the bar, and trying to make business and people coming in. I said, you're a steakhouse. What do you have people playing? Why are you doing this music? It's not a strip club.
It's a steakhouse.
It's a steakhouse, man.
Where classy people go to eat.
And they didn't believe me. It was the highest grossing restaurant on Staten Island. They were doing $74,000 a week.
And that wasn't enough, huh?
And I shut the whole restaurant up. They started cryovacing the meat, and every wise guy and mafia family that was in there was yelling at each other and cursing and fuck you. And they had an agreement with this idiot, Bobby Martinelli, what a he is. I had to deal with crazy shit, man. I could tell you a story about that in Nicolosi Drive, but that'll be another tale to tell. So just remember that one, Nicolosi Drive. So anyway, damn, you think about this stuff and it just drives you crazy. But, yeah, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with, I don't know if it's like a power trip. I don't get it sometimes. I really never got or understood their mentality, I knew what they were trying to do. I knew what games they were trying to play. And I was always, I'm not stupid. I'm going to play dumb because if they think I'm smarter than them or I'm thinking logically over them,
then they won't
They want to hurt you. They want to try to hurt you.
Really? Lord.
I mean,
well, Jimmy,
when I open,
phrase, don't turn a hoe into a. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
No, you can't. That's right.
And
you're right.
It seems like that's what we're trying to do here. You know what I mean? You can't. You can't make people have class. You just can't.
For any man to go up another man and try to get something from him is just a stupid idiot. And I used to have this piece of garbage, Vinny Nunez, try, yeah, Jim, come on, how about a couple of hours a week? Because I wouldn't give in to him, you
Why?
know, and they would,
What you doing for me, Jim?
yeah. Yep, they're just, you know, they live in a fantasy world, and a lot of young guys in the '90s were, and the early 2000s were like that. You know, they were. It was bad, man. You know, the whole scene was bad. It was always a nightmare. You're always fighting, you know, and again, a lot of the families that were not making money, or the people, or the soldiers, or some of these guys that were made guys, were really just degenerates. They, you know, they try to grab off of a concrete guy.
Wow.
You know, you talk about the Cavalcanti family. That shit went on with them too in North Jersey. It was no different than South Jersey, West Jersey, New York. Who controlled Brooklyn? Who had more in Manhattan? Genovese family controlled this, and you know, and there was a reference of understanding between all of them, and they just really, you know, they didn't step on each other's toes, and things were good because everybody was making money.
And everybody,
and that's relative. Yeah. But they're just, you know, to justify their means is just impossible, you know, because if you're a logical person, then nothing is logical about anything they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even if you're not religious, you know, God helps those who help themselves. So why are they always persecuted and ridiculed? And, you know, it goes with everything, you know, every mafia, you know. I mean, they all used each other, you know. The Italian mafia used the black mafia to sell drugs. And then the guy Lucas that was in the Bronx, he was, you heard of him, right?
Oh, yeah. He was
very smart guy, a very intelligent guy. He knew how to run the street. He knew how to protect himself. He knew who had to put out fear. But he worked with all the other, hey, we want some of this. We want to distribute it here. No problem, guys. We'll do it. And they all paid each other. They all made money. Hey, we're making money. No problem. Lucas was, oh, man, I got to be honest with you, he was a genius. The guy just literally, but you know, you slip up after a while. That's why I said the demon always gets you know, the demon always gets caught no matter what. You can only do so much damage to somebody. But yeah, you know, the Cavalcanti family worked with a lot of, they were involved in the Bronx. They were involved in upstate. I mean, they had, you know, hey, we're going to be doing a place up here. Hey, no problem. You get this guy's blessing. And that's what it was. You know, hey, you have a sit down, and they would sit there. And the Cavalcanti did that with the Southern mob family in Jersey. Jersey was filled with mobsters just as much as New York was. It's the same shit. The principle of the bridge didn't make a difference. They all, hey, we're bringing in 10 truckloads. Oh, listen, give us 5, give us 2. Yeah, we'll buy 1 from you. You know, hey, I got a deal coming up, you know, and look, we're bringing in this. No problem. My God, look, we're going to throw you a little cup. We're going to throw you some money. Oh, definitely. Or they want to open up a restaurant in Manhattan in a controlled area. That's what these people did. They talked amongst their own little world, you know. Yeah. But I was never in their world. So I don't know if they didn't get that. I don't care if they do get it or not. I'm not afraid of any of them. I'm just telling you that I was not taking their shit. I was just not falling into that bullshit. Hey, you guys do whatever you want to do. I was known, hey, I don't care what you do. And I honestly didn't. It's none of my business. But don't mix me and your bullshit. You're not going to see a little wimpy guy. You're going to have a problem, you know?
Yeah, facts. So look, Jim, you heard that the Cavalcanti family was based off the Sopranos, or the Sopranos were loosely based off of that family.
That's a possibility. Well, the Cavalcanti family was in North Jersey.
Okay. That's what Tony Soprano was.
Absolutely. The Sopranos was filmed in Jersey. It was filmed right in their area.
Yeah.
That was North Jersey.
Based on them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if
you're talking about the Cavalcanti, there is a family in Chicago, but this is the D Cavalcanti family. That's what you're talking about, right? North Jersey?
Yeah, the D Cavalcanti family. Yes.
Yes.
So they're 2 different families.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, you had that whole run-in with Casino. If you saw that movie, those guys in Kansas City were coming in from Michigan, Kansas City, all these states. They had Vegas. If we were going to open up anything in Vegas or do anything in Jersey, you had to get there okay. Because, well, here's something that's interesting. People say, that's bullshit. No, it's not, because they would have stopped the unions. They would have stopped construction and materials being delivered there. They were doing it to me. They were talking amongst themselves. And John Donasso, bless his soul, he said, I'm not doing that to the guy. Yeah, you ain't selling nothing to Jimmy, so I wouldn't get materials when I was building the ICP building. That's the shit I was going through.
Wow. Let's jump into that, man. What happened with that? The ICP building. Jeez.
Here we go. I did a lot of work for a gentleman, Paul Pelosi. He's passed away. I loved him dearly. He was a very, very dear friend of mine. He always used me for everything. Mm-hmm. And I built his ICP buildings. I saw him. I was like so proud of this guy because I'm not a jealous person. I said, man, damn, look at this. I built a config room that was the size of a garage. And next minute, we're talking about a 40,000 square foot warehouse with shipping coming in and computers, and they're configuring them. And the config tables were they were 60 feet long, and there was like 6 of them. And we were grinding the floor, and it was unbelievable what I had to deal with. But as I was we went through 8 framers, I think it was, 2 sheetrock companies.
Or were these people being intimidated by the mob?
Oh yeah, they were threatening them. Well, Phil Mancuso passed away. You know what? If there is a God, God rest his soul. Biggest creep I ever met in my life, but that's okay. I'm still never wish no bad on him. But he called me up before I started that building, and I knew I was in trouble because he said to me, hey, Jimmy, I was thinking maybe we'll do a joint venture.
What's a joint venture?
I found out like a joint venture, like let me come into the building and do it.
No, I know what you mean, but like you got the people, why you need him?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, and babe, I don't know if Paul Fabosi, because of his son-in-law, was going to use Phil, but Phil dumped on me every single monster on Staten Island. At one time, when I was doing the back ramp, you have to have an uplift to stop the water from backing up into the ramp. So I wouldn't pay the concrete guy because he has to put the up ramp in. So I was faced with maybe there was 10 cars that came in, 7, 8 old wise guys, and then this one guy, Ray Alvarez. I'll never forget this. So Ray goes, you're going to pay him, right? I said, well, no, he has to fix the ramp. He didn't do it right. And he knows he has to put an up ramp in. And the concrete guy goes, he's right. He knew I was right. I said, the engineer won't release the money unless it's done. And then the Ray Alvarez goes, it looks good to me. Like a real jerk. Now, this is a guy that had bodies cut up and stuffed in garbage bags that he put in there. He sold the garbage truck. This is a true story. He robbed the garbage truck. And then he said that he didn't know the bodies were in there. We were just going for a joyride. We're drunk with my brother. And they got away with it.
Wow.
This is the guy that I was facing. So Ray Alvarez is back there, 6, 7 other mafia guys, a bunch of their goons, and a few other people, not to mention no names. And they're going, hey, you got any other work here? You got a chance we can make a couple of dollars? I said, no. I said, no, you can't.
Yeah, get off my property.
I said, and now I was bullshitting the idiots, but I said, hey, buddy, I have no control over this job or the money or anything. Mm-hmm. I said, everything it did have to get approved by the engineer, but I was still handling the money. I had the money, but the engineer had to approve it. So I'm not kidding about that. But they tried to get a piece of me and doing this, and they're back there over the ramp. I said, look, my friend, I said, you're dealing with your talk. If I say you're going to talk to me, I said, I'm not talking to you. And I raised my voice.
Okay.
I'm talking to him. Chop the concrete up, get the up ramp in, and you'll get your money. Other than that, you're not getting a dollar. I walked away from them. They said, you better come back. You're going to have a problem. I said, sir, do what you have to do. Because I says, you will face the consequences. Yes, you will. Guaranteed. And I walked away from them. Do what you got to do.
Yep.
They never did anything. They knew that I was not I was a pretty crazy person. Yeah. I had a reputation. But anyway, I remember this guy, Ray Alvarez, coming in to get the roofer money. That's the first time I met Ray. Okay. And they thought they were going to strong arm me and scam me, and it didn't work. I had shotguns put at me while on that job. The sheetrocker guy, Marino, what a fucking piece of Mario. This guy, what a piece of garbage this guy is. He tried to strong arm me too. I'll tell you a story. Before I was starting the building, this one guy, Ralph, and this guy, Mario, stopped me on Highland Boulevard. And they pull in front of my car, and they're getting out like tough guys. Well, the guy, Ralph, had a phone in his back pocket, and he was reaching for it, and I thought he was going for a knife or a gun. I'm telling you, within I'm talking about a split second, and I was so proud of myself of how I reacted from all the karate and what I studied. Yeah, came to fruition. So I think he's pulling out a gun on me. And I'm talking about in 2 seconds, I went like this. The phone smashed in a million pieces. That's how fast it hit the ground. And I came upon him and I wrapped my hand around his neck. And I go, what were you doing? And they go, that was my phone. It was my phone. I said, all right. And I let him go. The guy, Mario's eyeballs popped out of his head. So I have a reputation. You got to shoot that guy from 20 yards away. Yeah. But anyway, so this guy comes on, and this guy, Mario, never paid the sheetrocker he hired. They gave him a $10,000 check. I'll never forget it. And I called up Mario. Mario comes to the job. Yeah, Jim. I said, there's no Jim here, bro. Listen, what's going to happen is I'm going to show the money that I paid you, and you never came in to do the job. These people are millionaires. They're going to sue you. And he started, they're going to sue you, Mario, not me, because I don't give a shit. But you're going to go, and he got in there, and he brought in the sheetrockers to finish the job. He taped it. We painted it. And I said, thank you very much. Now get out of my face, and don't ever show your face to me again. Not around here. Wow. Not around here. And they hated me because of that. He goes, because they knew, and this one beautiful guy, I forget his name. He said to me, Jimmy, he looked at his friend. He goes, Jimmy will never pay anybody. There's no way. And he was right. I never did. Everybody thought I did. Everybody thought I was in the mob. And I'm like, wow, this is really crazy, man. Yeah. People didn't say anything. They would think you're stupid, And I laughed, because a smart person will never indulge in ignorance, And I was never a person to indulge in that. But I hated them. I do have a resentment against them, Malik. And these are the people from the ICP building. Man. Well, Bill Mancuso sent the concrete guy, the block guy. I'm sorry, the guy to do the block. And he goes, yeah, what's going down? You got a lot of block work here. I said, no, there is no block. Oh, yeah, you're going to be putting this brickley up. You're going to be doing it, retiring it. I said, no, we're not. I said, no, there is no brick here. There is no block. And I at this point, I couldn't take it anymore. I got so aggravated. And it was good for me to do that because they never bothered me after that. I went like this. I said, listen to me. There's no block and brickwork going on here. And you take your fucking sorry ass and you get the fuck out of my face. I flipped out. I'm talking about the guy was scared. I knew he was scared. He went back to Phil Mancuso and all these people. He said, holy shit, this guy's crazy. The one guy that knew me said, "Bro, you're lucky he didn't take you and throw you out that window."
Oh,
Because I knew that's when I started saying I'm really getting tired of these people. I was ready
yeah.
to take my shampoo blades and throwing stars and start killing all of them. That's how bad they got me, babe.
Jeez,
No,
man.
but the ICP building was. I have to say they scared the framer, and the framer never came back. I paid him. I took money out of my restaurant to pay the second framer because the bank was holding back money because Phil Mancuso was involved with Staten Island Bank. And no, I'm sorry, not Staten Island Bank. What the hell's the name of it? Richmond County. So then all of a sudden, I couldn't get material. I couldn't, the bank was holding back money to put the building up. I'm taking money from my restaurant. I'm taking my personal money because I knew what they were doing. Paul Fabosi was giving me personal money. I'm taking money out of my restaurant. I finally got a framer from Jersey that didn't know these guys.
Wow.
And I sat on the job making sure they left and nobody followed them to scare them or threaten them. And they knew that. I got right behind them. And I followed them. I drove every day from where the Verrazano Bridge is all the way to the outer bridge to these guys to get home. And I would go off of the bridge. I did that every day while they were framing the building. I'm not lying to you.
Wow.
And that was I'm sorry, that was the fourth framer. So I called in a guy from Jersey. I wound up paying almost $100,000 to have the building framed.
And how much?
Because I'm sorry.
How much should it have cost?
Probably $35,000.
So you paid over $70,000 more
because of the mafia. Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
And they were directly threatening me. They were threatening the people going on the job. They were threatening, the stability of finishing it. I had a guy I hired, and this is a true story, piece of garbage, Van Alphen. John Van Alphen. I send him in to do the excavating, and he's doing that, and I'm dealing with the mob, and I'm trying to get over here to get material, but they're not delivering it, so I had to go pick it up in my truck myself. And then John Van Alphen, I had a poor guy. He was struggling.
Okay.
And the architect asshole, I think he was involved in it too, said, rip out all these, we don't need the sprinkler system. It was all copper. So I said, hey, buddy, for you and your family, you take the copper, just get it out of here and give it to your family.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Be petty? He needs money too. This is my nature. This is who I was, Malik.
Okay.
So
you're trying to help a brother out.
I run into him in Home Depot and I said, hey, man, how'd you make out? Did you get any good money? He went, Jimmy, John Van Alphen and that other guy told me to get the fuck out of here. I said, what? Yeah, they took the money. So I went, very, very good. Now watch how sinister I am. Watch what I did.
What'd you do?
John Van Alphen comes up to me and he said, oh, Jim, we're done with that job. He goes, you owe me $17,000. I said, 17. And now watch how I robbed him. $17,000. Hey, okay, no problem. I said, all right, listen, I'll call you for your check. I'll call you about your check. I didn't say anything else. I said, what? You're going to call me? I said, yeah, I'll call you about it. I'll call you about it. One idiot, this one jerk whispers in his ear. He goes, hey, my friend will get you your money. Now, one thing you don't do in the mafia is you tell them everything. You don't just give them a story that benefits you.
Yeah.
Saying to those guys, and I happen to know him. His name is Jack.
Okay.
Nice guy. I won't mention his last name because we come from the same neighborhood, and I don't want to do that to anybody, regardless of what they are. But some guy approaches me. I'm at the ICP building. This is really funny. And he goes, somebody wants to meet you up at the pizzeria. I said, oh, and it was him. I said, no problem. You tell him I'll be up there about 12 o'clock. Great, Jim, no problem. So I see John Van Alpen sitting there with like a smile on his face, like he knows he's going to get his money. Now I get there. Hey, Jack, how are you? Hey, buddy, how you doing? Hey, what's your name? Absolutely. Nice to meet you guys. Okay, so, hey, listen, before we start, you don't mind if I ask John Van Alpen a question, do you? The guy goes, no, not at all. I look at John, and this is what I said exactly. I said, John, you obviously don't know me, but I'm going to ask you a question. If you do not answer the question with a yes or a no, I'm going to punch your teeth in right into your mouth.
Oh,
I said, you won't have any teeth. It'll take me 2 shots because I'm going to hit you from both sides. And then I'm going to elbow your nose off your face right in front of these guys. And they're like, calm down. I went like this. No, I'm not calming down. And you're going to know why in about 2 seconds. I went to John. I said, John, did you or did you not steal copper from somebody and cash it in? And he went, I said, John, I'm not kidding. I will knock your teeth out of your mouth.
Yes or
right
no,
in front
John?
of this guy. Yeah. And he put his head down and goes, yeah, yes, I did. I said, okay. I shook his hand. I went right over to the guy, Jack. I said, gentlemen, thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I looked at John. I said, John, good luck. But ever in your life, always tell the truth. Because I said, karma's coming for you. I walked down the street. Lo and behold, I hear the guy saying, I like that guy. He said about me. I gotta tell you, Malik, I'm laughing. I said, this is the shit I have to deal with. But I knew John Van Alpen had a problem after that day because he now lied to those guys. And you embarrassed me like this, and I know that they gave it to him, and he became, he had to pay them. He had to pay retribution for that.
Yeah.
But when I told him karma is going to bite you, he lost one of his eyes.
Jeez.
He lost an eye. And I ran into him and I looked at him. This is about 15 years later.
Okay.
And he looked at me and he went to go say hello. He put a smile and then he put his head down because he knew. He knew what he did was wrong. Yeah. And I want to tell you what kind of a person I was. That poor guy that he stole the money to. I gave him half of that money and I put it in his pocket. He cried. He goes, Jimmy, thank you. Poor guy trying to make a living. He was all excited.
Worth, Jimmy?
And meanwhile, they're going behind my back on my job. And they're doing that behind my back like I'm not going to find out. Yeah. But unfortunately, they're not as smart as I am. You follow what I'm saying, babe?
Yeah, I get you, man.
I think that was pretty cool, right? They didn't even get a chance to say you owe him money because they knew he robbed my job, so he's not getting paid. So I beat him. He got $8,000, split it with the other piece of garbage, but really he lost $14,000. So what did he gain?
And the other dude
and the motto. This is why. A lot of people have a lot of shit to say about me, but one thing I never did was rob a person.
Yeah.
I never took anything that I didn't come to, and I didn't take anything that I didn't work for.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be disgraced by them because their words are meaningless to me. I know who I am. I don't have to prove myself to anybody.
Oh yeah. No, not.
But Malik, that building was a disaster. I fought so many people down to the elevator guy. And I remember a guy coming in talking to me about the elevator. And I said, well, he goes, oh, look, you owe him about $32,000. I said, yes, I do.
The elevator?
I said, yeah, the elevator was more than that. It goes up 4 stories. So, and also, I'm sorry, it had to do with the car elevator as well. So I said to the guy, I said, yeah, I owe him $32,000. And he goes, the building cost was $1.2 million, the contract was. So he looks at me, he goes, well, when are you going to pay it? I said, as soon as the elevator works. He goes, what? I said, well, I've been waiting for him for 2 months. If I call somebody, I'm not going to pay him a dime. He goes, well, you're going to have to pay him. I said, no, I'm not. And I'm telling you right to your face, I'm not paying him if I got to call somebody to come and fix this. And I have a guy from Brooklyn coming tomorrow. So if he don't have his ass here tomorrow, He's not getting the dollar, and I'm getting this elevator fixed. And he saw that it doesn't work. He says, maybe I embarrassed myself a little bit. I says, I think you did. You know, you come and ask for money and the thing don't work and the guy don't, he yelled at him. He flipped out on the guy. He said, you embarrassed me like that? The elevator don't even work. You know, that's why these guys are idiots. They think it's a game when you mess with these people.
And they thought they were getting something for nothing. Because dude was going to have to pay him for coming down there to be his representative.
That's right.
So he probably still done jacked the man for $5,000. So he was only getting $25,000. And he fucked up by not having the damn thing working.
Yeah.
Did he come out there the next day to fix it or no?
No.
Nope. Well, Brooklyn got it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, the guy never came back. He knew he was wrong. Because I told him to his face, I said, no, I don't give a shit. I said, if I got to look with eyes behind my head, I have no problem doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not dealing with this bullshit.
I chased the guy down that pulled the gun out on me on Highland Boulevard, all the way to Highland Boulevard, yeah. The cop pulled me over and I said, you're letting the guy get away. They pulled a gun out on me. Well, you can't, you know, the cop was an idiot. But they got away. I saw the car pull up and I was running for my truck and they took off like a bandit.
In your truck? Or
no, I was trying to get my truck to chase him. Okay. And I said, come here one more time. I said, come here one more time. Watch what happens. And I never saw them after that.
Wow.
When you stand up to these people, because you should, as a man, just like any other man, you do what you got to do and you do what you believe in. Because nobody's going to take my manhood away from me. But I will tell you, I never did any wrongdoing to another person, or if somebody, unless they deserved it. If they deserved it, they got it. Because that's one thing I'm wholehearted about.
Okay.
You do something wrong to me, you're going to pay for it, you know? You're going to pay.
Well, Jimmy, I hope I never get on your bad side, man.
No, babe, are you kidding, man? I am a gentle. Listen, you know what? I'm talking about this aggression because these people gave me this aggression, Malik.
Oh, yeah.
It's not me, honey. If I didn't get out of New York, I was going to hurt somebody. I really was. I had a guy, I was doing a job and I did an amazing waterfall, not one leak. And the pool guy's slide was leaking, the ground was leaking, his jacuzzi was leaking. I didn't have nothing wrong. And when I showed them, they all shut up because they knew they couldn't say a word to me. But you know what the owner says to me? Yeah, all this money you charge me to refit. I said, you have to pay me before I come. That's my policy.
Yeah.
I'm not repairing anything because it's not my fault.
Yeah.
And I proved that. So you got to pay me before. Okay. He sent me the check. I put the check, deposited, it cleared. And I went and did the job. And then in the background, he goes, he starts mumbling because his wife's giving him a hard time. He goes, if I want to get my money, this is Staten Island. This is the mentality on Staten Island. If I want to get my money, I'll get my money. And I looked at, and I went like this. I said, frog juice. His son was there and they're listening to me. Frog juice. Poison frog juice. That's what's going to happen here. And they looked at me like I'm nuts.
Yeah, what the
I
fuck
beat
does that
the
mean?
crap out of a Brazil. I beat up a Brazilian guy in a freestyle tournament. He said, I never saw a guy fight like you. And I said, I came in there because I wasn't going to allow you to defeat me. And he goes, I want you to teach me that premise. I said, I am not going down for you. I know the mentality. I'm not going down for you. You're not taking me out. He goes, I can't fight that. And he bowed to me. I said, never bow to me, bro. We salute in my style. We don't bow to nobody. He sent me from Brazil a vial of frog juice, poison frog juice. You know, that they stick in the Aborigines stick in the thing and shoot the monkeys out of the trees.
Yeah.
So he goes, this is a badge of honor. And I was like, man, great fighter. And don't kid yourself. I was fired up. If I wasn't fired up, I would have never beat this guy. That's how good he was. He was good. He just had, you know, and he too fought the mob in Brazil. We had mob stories and he couldn't believe mine, but it's very taxing, and it just wears you down to nothing, Malik. These people will try to destroy your life, your essence. And if
Crazy.
you let them, yeah, if you let them, you saw Goodfellas, right, with the restaurant.
Oh, I love
That
that
shit
movie.
goes down. That
That was
is a
one of
great movie, isn't it? I got to tell you, Joe Pesci made that movie. He really did. He was.
he did. Tommy was crazy as shit.
Now, did you see that guy that he stuck the ice pick in his neck in the car?
Yeah, yeah,
That was Maury. That was the guy Maury. There was a real guy, Maury's Wigs. I used to watch that commercial on TV.
yeah. You told me that
Maury's
shit
Wigs, they
crazy.
used to jump in the pool like that. He goes, and they don't fall off, even in the water. Boom. I used to watch that live.
Wow. Wow.
And I knew who that guy was. I saw his store in Queens, man. I was like, holy shit. I've been around a while, man.
Hey
But
man,
yeah,
I feel the same way. I be listening to Tribe Called Quest and Electric Boogaloo, and they talk about Siemens Furniture. Remember Siemens Furniture?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Crazy, right?
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. So look, tell me about the pizzeria, correct? Before we head out of here, man. What's up
What
with the
pizzeria?
pizzeria? I think you said something about a pizzeria connection that you had.
Oh, um, I had built a pizzeria,
Okay.
and I had built a pizzeria for a very nice guy. He passed away early. He had some kind of rare disease for Alex.
Okay.
And when I was with my daughter, it was so ironic because I was taking my daughter to the movies, and she said, "Dad, I want a slice of pizza." So I'm holding her hand, and we walk into the pizzeria, and the two mob union guys are there busting his balls. And they look at me and they go, "Is this your job, Jim?" Hey, I put two and two together. I said, "Yeah, what are you guys doing here?" "I'm checking on my work." And they said, "Oh, they shook my hands." I'll tell you the story of how they did that and why they did that. But they ran out. And the kid, Alex, poor guy, God rest his soul, man. Very smart kid. He said, "Jim, what did you do?" I said, "I didn't do anything. I don't know." But I had a run-in with him when I was doing a building. They were picketing my job, and then he threatened me. And my uncle was a criminal lawyer for a lot of big players, and he was the lawyer for the concierge at the time of Paul Castellano, And Sal was a very, very nice guy, but I had mentioned it to him. We were talking at a party. "Jim, you ever have any problems on Staten Island?" I said, "Yeah, I got the local 20s picking at my job, and the guy threatened me." I'm talking about, that's all I said to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Next minute, I go to my job on the corner of Highland and Richmond Avenue, and the union isn't there. They're not picking at my job. I'm like, what the hell? And so I called up my Uncle Joe, and I said, "Uncle Joe," I loved him, man. He was great. "Uncle Joe," I said, "I can't believe it. This was my wife's father's brother. But I was so close to him."
Okay.
So I said, "Uncle Joe, the union's gone." We went over to the house to eat, and he looked at me and he smiled. So Joey Francolino, a gentleman, and everybody knows he was the concierge, for Gotti and Castellano. A very smart guy, but he had said something to them, and they were gone. So that's how much how much control the mobs has and still has. They still have. I would say more so now than ever before.
Really? Why do you
Yes,
think that?
yes. Because they got smarter and they got wiser, and they're going back into the 30s and the code of silence nonsense, and nobody talks to anybody, and they're opening up businesses, and they're doing things collectively that are not going to get them in trouble,
Wow.
And they're smarter about it, Everything grows up, right?
Yeah.
Everything changes. Nothing stays the same. Music changes,
That's very true.
I want to, again, you would look at some actors like James Caan. James Caan was with a guy from Staten Island,
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. They all had interacted, man. That's what happened with Jules and Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Sonny Saccone, yeah, Sonny Saccone was looking to get because he did a lot of things for Steven or whatever happened. Steven's a dirtbag. But besides that, Malik, what happened was um, Jules sat down, and I said to Jules had to sit down, but they were monitoring the restaurant that this guy, um, Sonny Saccone frequent. Sonny
Okay.
Saccone said to my face, if I wanted to take the restaurant, meaning my restaurant, that's easy. That's what he said to me. I wanted to stick my fingers in his eyeballs right then and there, Unbelievable what you got to deal with. But anyway, Jules went in there, and 2 days later, they arrested Jules. Steven Seagal told the FBI that I was a hitman for the
What?
Gambino crime family. He told them,
Why
now,
would he? That is nothing that can be
because he was
proven.
just a paranoid, delusional loon. But guess what? You know what's so funny about it?
You knew the cops.
The Fed said, I have nothing on this guy, Jimmy DeLuise. I have nothing. I never even heard of this guy. Where is he coming in the radar? So they look at my website, and one of them called me up, and I could have pressed charges against Steven Seagal for forgery. But if they arrested me, Steven Seagal would have had a lawsuit. But they said, all I know is that if I had the money, I'd be calling you. I would be hiring you to fix my house. He goes, holy shit. And they started asking me about my website. And
See?
I said to them, I said, no, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm not involved in these people at all, with these people at all. I have nothing to do with them. And absolutely. But Jules
Wow.
was on tape. Jules was on a tape saying, Sonny, I'll get you 150,000 a movie. Meaning Steven Seagal. This is true shit, man.
Wow.
And I told Jules, I said, Jules, if you go in there, this is going to bite you in the ass. And he said that to me. He goes, Jimmy, you were right. It bit me right in my ass. I said, it most certainly did. I warned you. I'm not stupid, man. I ain't going to sit down with some mobster and talk about how they're going to. And then the morons all travel up at the same time in Toronto when he was doing exit wounds with DMX.
Wow.
I was at the premiere in the Ziegfeld Theater in New York. I saw DMX. I saw all of them. Son of a bitches, man.
Jesus, that's crazy. Cece or Sissy, look at my teeth. Salute, new sub. Hey, salute to you. Thanks for joining us this evening. And Jay
Salute, bro.
says lit. Yeah, it is. Jimmy's giving some good feedback out here, isn't he? Yeah.
Bro,
Doing a
I
fabulous
gotta tell
job.
you, man. But anybody that's listened to this shit, it's true. It's just real true. It's not. It's not a game. It's not a lie. It's insanity, man. But these people, I can't. How would I describe their mentality? I just sometimes I can't justify anything with them because I don't think like that. I'm thinking of how I can help somebody and make something amazing for them and see them happy. These dudes are seeing how they can destroy you.
See?
And I just, how do you figure that out?
Facts, facts. So, Sissy, look at my teeth is from Buffalo, New York. You know anything about any mobsters up there in Buffalo, Jim?
Bro, there's mobsters all over the
I know,
place, and
right? I
those
know.
guys, there is a couple of people up in Buffalo, bro, and it's a good question because they're also involved with the Canadian mob, which also New York is connected to the Canadian mob and all these people. And, it's kind of like the big general telling the other little generals, don't do this. Even what happened in Philadelphia, the New York mob was sanctioning somebody to come in and run the Philly mob, and the younger Turks didn't want that, so they were fighting them and killing them and trying to blow them up. That's how crazy it was in the '90s, man.
Wow. Wow.
And the Philly mob, those guys were sinister, man. The Philly mob, those guys were nuts. They were just outright outlaws, man. But
Craziness.
Buffalo, man, Buffalo, shit. I don't know enough about Buffalo, and I can't say anything, if I don't know about it. But I can ask some friends about it because a lot of guys, a lot of places in Queens were doing a lot of trucking up to Buffalo. So I can like inquire for that gentleman that was asking.
Hey man, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
man.
we'll keep, yeah, I'm going to make a phone call and ask my buddy that used to drive for a lot of companies that were, I mean, yeah, they were mob companies, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
they had transportation, they had everything. I mean, it was insane. They had their hands in everything. I mean,
You
you
had me
know,
Canadian mob. I'm thinking you just don't think Canadian and associate mob.
Canadian mobs. Oh my God, man. There's the French Canadian mob. There's the Italian Canadian mob.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got so much shit going on and so many people involved in everything, and you got the Chinese mob. You got the Japanese mob in
In
California, New
Canada.
York. I mean, Canada, oh my God, yeah, Hawaii, forget about it. It's insane, man. It's insane the multi roots of how they work with each other.
Mm.
Like if a guy in New York wants to open up a club in Hawaii or somewhere in another state, you know, look. Did you see the show Donnie Brasco?
I did.
That's a true story. What happened, you know, in Florida.
Okay.
Now, if you read the book, I read the book. The book was very interesting, but it really was true. Of course, they over exaggerated a couple of things. I don't think there was a lion, but they did raid that, and that was a true story about that restaurant, and that was a true story about those murders. I mean, it's pretty sinister how it all works, but you know, of course, Sonny Black disappeared because he let an FBI agent in the mob. You know.
Yeah.
And he did. He left all his stuff for his wife and his kid, his son, and that's a true story, man. That
Well,
shit's
we'll talk
all.
about that
That's
next week, man. I think that'd
what?
be a good one to talk about next week. The Donnie
Yeah,
Brasco.
without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything you guys out there
I
want us
love that you're
to
writing everything down, Malik. That's awesome, man. Because
do?
you know, I'm like a computer. You turn me on and you punch in the title, and there you go. You know.
Yeah, yeah. See, and me, I have to write it down, otherwise I'm gonna forget about it. So,
Man, damn.
well, man, I think this was a great show. How about you, Jim?
I loved it. I love working with you. You were awesome, and you are such a great host.
Well, thank you, Jim, and you're a great person to be on the show with. I got to tell you, you're a great co-host, so I love it. I love it all the time.
And you know, it's a great topic because people really that never experience this stuff, they get to hear a lot of stuff firsthand of really what goes down. You know,
Yeah,
I
and
mean, Steven Seagal. When I was at Steven Seagal's house, he had a gun. He was holding onto a gun in the back of his pocket. I'm like, the hell's going on with these people, man?
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and there was this fat ex-detective sneaking in the bushes, and I'm going like this, dude, you gotta sneak up on somebody better than that. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? You know? But
We're gonna have to talk about.
Steven,
I,
yeah, I
yeah,
could tell you some stuff about Steven Seagal that'll trip you out, man.
jeez, man. And you always think of Steven Seagal as this badass, karate fighting dude, and then to find out that he's a piece of
Probably,
shit.
probably one of the biggest. He's a rapist, you know.
He's a rapist too? Oh, Jimmy, we gotta talk about all
Oh,
of
man.
this next week.
I could tell you a lot of shit, man. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal. When I was in court in front of Judge Brock, a famous federal judge, and I was in federal court. I was on the stand, and I was
Uh-huh.
being questioned by lawyer by the federal prosecutor, and also Jules Nassau and the other guy's lawyer. And Judge Brock asked me. He goes, "Well, we could talk about this in another show." That was a
Yeah.
head trip too. I'm like, how the hell did I get here, man? How did I get involved with this shit?
See. And all of this is true according to the Jimster over here. So Jimmy's got it.
Absolutely. No,
We
man.
will put
Look again.
our
That guy was asking me about Buffalo. I can only reference it to people that may know, but I can't answer yes or anything on it because I just really don't know. You know. I was involved with a lot of people in the area, in the vicinity of where I worked and stuff,
Makes sense.
which was vast enough, babe.
Yeah. No, I feel you, brother. I definitely feel you. So look, catch us next week for another episode of Mob Tales. Jim, you got any closing words for these folks?
No, man. Everybody be good and stay away from mobsters.
Yes, please do.
Stay
Please
away
do.
from mobsters, right?
They sound like
So
big old bullies. So
good
I'll
night,
be
man.
damned if I'm bullied. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Love having you, and we'll see you again. We're out of here.